Okay, everybody should have their paper ready, and it should be landscape-wise, which is long this way from side to side. You have your picture tall, like portrait style. You need to go ahead and move it back to be landscape style like this. The first thing you're going to do is put your name on the back of your paper. I'm going to write my name. You guys need to use your pencil to write your name. Next, you're going to write your class code. So you're going to be K for kindergarten, and then whatever your teacher's first initial is. So if it's Ravenscraft, you'd put an R. If it's Hueslig, you'd put an H. If you need help with that, just raise your hand and I can let you know. Once you have your name on your paper, what I want you to do is go ahead and flip that paper over to the side that's just white, because we don't want our name to ruin our picture. We just want it on there so we can get our artwork back whenever the teacher is done with it. We're going to be making 3 pumpkins today. So we're going to be making a big circle and 2 smaller circles, like medium-sized circles on there. So what I want you to do is take your pencil, and about the middle of your paper, you're going to make a pretty big circle. Now, if you make it too big, you might not be able to fit your pumpkins on there. If you make it too small, it's going to be really hard to see your pumpkins on your picture. Your circle does not have to be a perfect circle. Not all pumpkins are perfect circles, so I want you to do your best. Now, if you notice, I messed up my circle there. I can leave it, or I can use my eraser and go ahead and try to fix it just a little bit better. So if you haven't started doing it, go ahead and draw a nice big size pumpkin in the middle of your paper. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be adding 2 more smaller circles on the side of the pumpkin. So again, take your pencil and you're going to add a circle on this side. Again, it does not have to be a perfect circle. Oops. If you make a mistake with your pencil, you can always erase it. I always draw lightly with my pencil because it makes it easier to erase. When you push hard with your pencil and you try to erase it, it usually leaves some of your pencil mark behind. So I just push lightly with my pencil for now because we're going to be tracing these and coloring them in on another day. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a circle kind of like this one, but on the other side of the pumpkin. So I'm going to go ahead and start my circle. And so now you should have 1 big circle and 2 smaller circles on the side of your pumpkin. If you don't have them, you need to go ahead and get them on your paper. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be adding some stems to the top of our pumpkin. To add a stem, what I do is I just make kind of a rectangle shape coming up from the pumpkin. So I go up, over, and down. I'm going to do the same thing to my other 2 pumpkins. I'm going to go up, over, down. I'm going to do 1 more stem. Up, over, down. When you're done with your stem, what we're going to do is we're going to add a horizon line. The horizon line is where the ground and the sky meet. So all we have to do to make our horizon line is draw a straight line across. But I don't want to draw a straight line across through my pumpkins. I want it to go behind my pumpkins. So in order to do that, I'm going to start my line here and go over to where I meet my pumpkin and stop. Then I'm going to kind of go across pretending to draw and make another line. Then I'm going to go skip my pumpkin, finish the line right here, skip my last pumpkin, and finish the line on this side. If you need help with that, raise your hand. I can pause the video and come around and see your work and see who needs help for a minute. When you're done with your horizon line, we're going to be adding some lines that come down on our pumpkin. Because pumpkins have those like little indentation lines that come down on them. On our big pumpkin, I want us to add 4 lines. So take your pencil, you're going to start at the top of your pumpkin, and you're going to draw kind of a curvy line. It's okay if it's not exactly curvy, but it kind of goes with the circle of the pumpkin. I'm going to do another curvy line on my pumpkin, like that. So go ahead and try your curvy lines. On the other side, I'm going to kind of curve mine the other way a little bit. So I'm going to start at the top and kind of go this way. And then I'm going to do the same thing right here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Kind of went out of the pumpkin a little bit there, so I'm just going to erase it some. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 3 lines to our smaller pumpkins. We're going to do the same kind of lines, but we're just going to do 3. So on my smaller pumpkin, I'm going to start at the top of the pumpkin and kind of curve down. 1, and I'm going to do it again for 2 and 3. So I have 3 lines on that small pumpkin. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and do it. On the last pumpkin, we're going to make 3 more lines. So we're going to start at the top and draw 1, go back to the top, draw 2, and go back over here to the side and draw 3 lines. Now when you're done with your pumpkin, we want to make those lines stand out so that we can color them next week and still see our pumpkins. So I'm going to use a marker like this, a black marker, and I'm going to use it just to trace over the top of my lines. I'm not coloring my picture with the marker. I just want to make my lines black. So go ahead and find your black marker. You're going to take the lid off, and so I don't lose the lid, I always kind of stick it right on the back there so that it doesn't get knocked off the table. And then what I'm going to do, and you guys are going to do the same thing, is you're just going to trace your lines on your pumpkin. Make sure you get all of your lines traced. If you get off of the line a little bit, that's okay. Sometimes it's hard to trace. Just kind of follow the lines the best you can. And notice how dark my lines are now. So you can see them very well. This will be very helpful when we go to color in our pumpkin so that we can still see our lines and our shapes. So take your marker and keep outlining all of your lines. Notice how I'm not coloring it in. I'm going to do that next week, and we're going to use secondary colors to color our beautiful pumpkin picture. Got one more pumpkin over here to trace. You guys just trace. I might be going a little faster than you, that's okay. Just do your best and finish tracing. And don't forget that horizon line we drew in the back that shows where the ground is and where the sky is. You want to make sure you go ahead and trace those little lines that we drew across. So now it looks like our pumpkins are sitting on the ground and the sky is behind them. When you're all finished, raise your hand and I will come get your pumpkin from you. And then you can free draw with the paper in the middle of your table. Please don't fold the paper or make paper airplanes. Just use crayons and pencils and you can draw whatever you want while your friends are finishing their work.